W
T L.
It's time! W
T L.
I think we got a show. Oh yeah, we got a show. W
T L.
And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the line? I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
Jabron.
Oh, the Parlay Pounder.
You got it. We're back.
This is Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. And we got a full slate here. This is a very fun time of the year for your run-of-the-mill sports bettor, pro bettor, whoever you are.
Yep.
Let's start things with the NBA playoffs. Game 6, Boston Celtics, 76ers. That is tonight, 6:30 Central Standard Time on ESPN. Philadelphia leads this series 3-2. Game 5 was won by Philadelphia in Boston. Kind of a letdown, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
115-103.
Yeah, Andy. The Celtics on their own floor had their worst shooting performance of the series in Game 5. Only scoring 103 points. That is unheard of for this Boston Celtics team, especially at home. There was, little offense outside of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. They're two all-stars anyways, but they combined for 60 points. They got to get a lot more out of those role players, just in general. 60 points is not going to hack it for these guys, but those other guys got to push it if they want to keep up with the likes of Joel Embiid and James Harden on the other side. If you remove the dynamic duo from the mix, Boston just shot 13 of 40 from the floor. That is just 32% from the floor. So with their big men, their guards, and all that kind of stuff, that is a terrible percentage of 32.5%. So I do look for them to kind of bounce back in this one because their life's on the line. They don't play again if Embiid comes and squashes their dreams right here. That's why I do believe that
just heading back to Boston.
That it's heading back to Boston for Game 7.
Ooh.
Best two words in sports is Game 7. So
and this series has really kind of gone back and forth. We thought, all right, Philadelphia stole one in Boston. Here we go. But then Boston came back. They got one in Philadelphia. So this has kind of been back and forth here.
For sure. And, at a moment in time during the series, Andy, I really thought that Boston might just blow them out the rest of the series.
Well, yeah, there's been some lopsided scores.
And that's kind of where I was going to, just because I didn't know if James Harden is going to be the James Harden of old, the playoff buster, as they would have called him back in the day. But Joel Embiid looks like he's on, but it really looks like James Harden, fear the beard, during the playoffs is, hitting on all cylinders.
That Game 5, Embiid, as you mentioned, he came out 33 points, 7 rebounds. It was also kind of the Tyrese Maxey game. He had 7 rebounds and 30 points. He poured in 30.
Exactly.
Harden shifted gears. Remember, he had that huge game, Game 1 without Embiid. Only 17 points, but he had 10 assists. That shows me that maybe James Harden has found something. He's always got those assists, but he always fills up the score sheet as well.
Yeah.
He always pours in his. Now you're seeing maybe another side of him where he's like, look, I got to start winning playoff games. I got to start winning playoff series. So I really like that dynamic, that gear that I feel like Philadelphia has found right now.
No, you're totally right, Andy. And if they want to close the series out, they have to do it tonight, because if it gets back to Boston in Game 7, that is a total destruction move for the Sixers, because that building will be rocking.
Yep.
We all know how Boston sports are in the Garden. That's going to be tough to take them down in Game 7. So the 76ers' best chance is to win tonight.
Yep.
I just don't think they're going to do it. I think we're going to have huge games from Jason Tatum. Marcus Smart is going to step up big, put his defensive stamp on this game. So I got the Celtics winning 116-111. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. But my best bet, Andy, is take that over 214 total points. Because that's going to happen.
It has to, right?
Yes,
Boston,
it does.
like you said, it has to happen if Boston wants to win this game. And you already mentioned it. Tatum with 36 points. The stars really shown there in Game 5. Brown with 24. But where they got beat, and this is just back to the basics. Yep. They lost on the boards.
No doubt.
They were out-rebounded 49-36.
Woo!
I mean, there you go. Your second chance points.
Yeah.
Philadelphia figured it out, dominated the boards, and really that was the difference. Everything else, if you look up and down that box score,
it's
box sheet,
even.
It's even across.
It is.
It's very, very even, except for
Rebounding.
That rebounds. And, I mean, that we talk about it in high school. We talk about it in college. The same rings true for the big boys.
Yeah, no, Andy. And that's definitely true. And that's a lot of the MVP coming out with Joel Embiid. Mm-hmm. That's a big, part of his game. But like you said, Celtics got to battle back here. Taking the over, though, at the 214 mark is the best bet. No-brainer. After all, it's the number that the Celtics and 76ers have cleared 4 times this series, including each of the last 3 matchups. The over is also 5-0 in Boston's previous 5 road games, as well as 4-2 in Philadelphia's last 6 played in May. So this is a no-brainer. Over. Hit that over. That's the best bet of tonight.
Smash that over. Any player props you like to wait till it gets a little closer to tip? But any of them that you're kind of been thinking about, or you're keeping your eye on?
Yeah, no doubt, Andy. And I mean, you got to look. You got to look no further than Jaylen Brown, over 24.5 points. I think that is kind of a lock. I just think he's going to come out, show the alpha dog. And, Tatum's going to get his. Tatum's going to be anywhere from 25 to 30, but Jaylen Brown's going to, I think, push it a little more and try and be the top dog in this closeout game. So I really like Jaylen Brown over 24.5.
You do this quite often, Jabron, where you sell yourself on one thing, and it's good logic, right?
Yeah.
You're going to hit that over. But if you're going to get to that over, you're going to have Jaylen Brown. So rather than hedging and maybe going somewhere else, you're like doubling down, like Jaylen Brown and the over.
Yeah, I think they're both going over, so I'll parlay them both together.
I like that. Hey, that's confidence. That's betting with confidence. Should we head on out west?
Let's do it.
Another Game 6. Denver Nuggets going to Phoenix to play the Suns. That's going to be your nightcap. 9 o'clock tip-off Central Standard Time on ESPN. Denver leads this series 3-2. And this game has really gone back and forth.
It has.
Everyone's been holding a home court down. And you said that a couple of weeks ago, that Phoenix plays well at home.
Yep.
And they've played really good against Denver throughout this entire season at home.
No doubt about it.
I think they've lost every single game maybe in Denver.
Yes.
Or it's pretty close to that.
Yeah.
They haven't had much success out there on the road. But at home, they figured out, they found a way. Game 5, Denver won at home in Denver, 118-102. Jokic,
the GOAT.
I mean, triple-double, once again, climbing the all-time ranks. Did you see his post-game interview? That was pretty funny.
It's just what it is every time. Just no emotion, nothing.
29 points, 12 assists, 13 rebounds, and Shaq's part of the panel there. And he goes, was Shaq on that list? And Shaq's like, no, I wasn't. You know that.
You know that. He knew that. No, it's just the same. He had 53 points the other night, and they lost. And they were trying to ask him about it. He said, I don't care. Yeah. I don't care. We lost the game. All I care about is winning. 53 points, still no emotion.
Yeah, Murray had 19 points. Porter Jr. had his 19. When you can get that kind of performance out of those guys. But Bruce Brown Jr. 25 points. Much like we said, it was kind of Tyrese Maxey kind of stole the show for Philadelphia. This was kind of Bruce Brown Jr.'s moment in these playoffs, scoring 25 points, really creating that separation. And I've said it all season, Jabron. When Bruce Brown Jr. goes for 25 or more,
the Nuggets win.
You're done.
No, it's all about, and that's the great thing about this Nuggets team is there is no ego. They don't care where the points come from. Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, like you said, Bruce Brown. They're all shooters, and guess what? They're all wide open because Joker takes so much heat in the post. In Jamal Murray, that 1-2 game, they wide open lanes for everybody. As long as their guys, their outside shooters are hitting, they're a really tough team to beat.
And it's a double-edged sword with Jokic because not only is he a threat to score from anywhere. He's a phenomenal passer. 12 assists that last game.
Triple-dub.
Yep, hit that triple-dub, so he can find his shooters as well. Do you got a best bet on this one?
Yeah, for
what?
sure. And I do believe the Suns hold home court here.
Okay.
I think KD and Booker come out with just electric performances here. They're not shying away.
No.
They're none of that.
Nope.
KD is one of the best to ever do it. So fortunately for Suns fans, they have a better shooting performance at Footprint Center in Phoenix. And on top of that, the Suns have defeated, like you said, the Nuggets in each of their last 5 encounters at home. So I am betting the Suns. I think that is going to hit. But my best bet of the night, Andy, is Devin Booker over 31.5 points. I don't see Devin Booker having any issues hitting this over. It's just not only has he hit the over in 6 of his last 9 games, but he's also averaging 38.8 points over his past 5 home games in the playoffs. So this guy's going to get close to 40, especially in a elimination point right here. 32 points, that's easy for him. He's going to get 40. Lock that in.
What is the line set at right now?
As in for the Nuggets, I believe. Give me one sec. It was 3.5 is what I'm looking at.
Okay,
for Phoenix to cover. Like I said, I don't know if I like that so much because I believe it's going to go right down to it. But that Devin Booker over is going to hit because they have no chance of winning if him and KD don't step up and really put points on the board. So. Devin's going to have 31.5.
He had a good game 5, too. He had 28 points on the road in 41 minutes. Durant played 42 minutes, had 26 points and 11 rebounds, 7 assists. So he had a complete game. You kind of feel like KD is turning back into the KD of old, right?
And those guys didn't play a majority of the fourth quarter because it was already over. So literally those guys put up those kind of points in 3 quarters of basketball. So literally they're just going to go off. It's just the way playoff basketball goes. Home, 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 home.
Yeah.
And then really Game 6 and Game 7 will...
And this is heading back to Denver. I do like how this series has stayed a little closer.
Yeah.
Unlike the Celtics and Philadelphia 76ers, where you don't know if you might get a blowout here.
Yeah, exactly.
This one's been, even though 118-102, that Denver felt like they had it in hand.
For sure.
But I agree with everything you're saying there. I do think it's going to go back to Denver. Hard to argue with Devin Booker, despite what he's been able to do throughout the playoffs. I wish it was in the 20s, like 28 or 29. That 31.
He wouldn't be the guy he is if that's the case, especially at home.
Man, that's kind of stretching it there. But all right. Let's take a minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Nebraska Brewing Company. We've been enjoying the smooth, easy drinking Ale Storm, the official beer of Omaha's AAA baseball team. Precisely crafted with Pilsner malt and Sterling hops, making it the perfect summer baseball beer. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL. And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
Jabron,
the Parlay Pounder.
You got it.
And you knew we couldn't go a week without some UFC.
You know it.
And this is a special one, UFC Fight Night in the Spectrum Center out in Charlotte. And we got a guy from Omaha, Nebraska on the main card.
Anthony Smith, Mr. Lionheart himself.
Lionheart. We're going to be breaking that one down, but let's start with the welterweight bout.
Yeah.
That is the number 15 contender, Daniel Rodriguez, taking on a young man out of Ireland, Ian Gary. And Gary is your favorite at minus 285.
Yeah, Andy, and that's kind of a wide range right now. You can see him anywhere from minus 350 to minus 250 right now. So shop that around if you're big on Gary. But,
he's undefeated right now. Professional record, 11-0.
He is, and there's a lot of hype behind quote unquote the future is what they call him. The card on Saturday, it's a very interesting matchup right now because when a gritty striker, Daniel Rodriguez, battles the Irish stud, the prophet, Ian Gary, the future. This is going to be Gary's biggest toughest,
fight up to this point.
Yep. The American certainly has the skills to win this bout, but at 36, it's much more likely that Gary's youth and athleticism will win the day. Suffering a second straight loss in the octagon in his first TKO of his career. So I really got Gary,
taking care of business.
I think he's going to get him in the second round here, Andy, and I think he's going to get him by TKO, which is if you're looking for better odds on, just the minus 300, which is, not good. Ian Gary to win by TKO, or DQ is minus 200 right now. So that is some good,
a little better.
Some good value right there. So that's what I would go in that fight. I think Ian Gary brings it brings it down.
Just the side-by-side and during the weigh-ins, Rodriguez looks heavier. He looks like a bigger dude. But he's not. He's only 170 compared to the future, who's 180. It's that 2-inch difference.
Yeah.
And just the body type between the two young guys here.
For sure.
Daniel getting a little older, a little long in the tooth.
Yeah.
But he has a phenomenal record.
For
17-3. It's just those, last couple of losses haven't looked that good. And we mentioned it all the time. One guy is going one way up the rankings. The other guy is going down. And Rodriguez is just barely holding on, ranked 15th right now.
Yeah, for sure. And this is exactly how the UFC does it. And good on them because they're giving a really good, prospect to Rodriguez here. If he wins this fight against Gary, he's right back in the top 10.
Yep.
But they're really just laying out the red carpet for Ian Gary to break into the rankings, which I believe is going to happen pretty easily for him in the second round with a knockout.
All right, so I'm going to have to agree with you there. Look at Gary, but shop it around because that number does have some volatility
It does.
to it. All right, now this one, we're in for a banger here.
We are.
And we're not just saying it. This is the co-main event
Yep.
out of the Spectrum Center featuring Lionheart Anthony Smith, the young man out of Nebraska, number 5 contender in the world, taking on Johnny Walker, not the bourbon, the Brazilian.
The Brazilian.
Who's also in the rankings, ranked at number 7 contender in the world. This is so tight. The book I'm looking at has them both at a -110.
That's what it is.
Straight up toss-up.
That's what it is. It's a straight-up toss-up. Like you said, this is a fantastic matchup, Andy, in the light heavyweight realms. You got former title challenger Anthony Smith, Lionheart, just like you said, has fought the best of them, went toe-to-toe with John Jones, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Faces the always dangerous power striker of Johnny Walker.
Yep.
Smith is certainly a more rounded fighter than the Brazilian, but Walker has built that needed momentum with back-to-back wins coming into this fight.
Yeah.
So both of them got huge motivation for this. Anthony Smith still thinks he's in contention for a title fight sometime down the line, and he's going to have to beat Johnny Walker right here to prove that.
Yeah.
So while Smith has a lot more mileage on his body, like I would say after a long career in the sport, he has the better fight IQ in this matchup. Look for him to bring a measured approach early, get the bout down to the mat, and then dominate his opponent en route to what I think is going to be a submission win for Anthony Smith.
That's a lot of what I've been hearing, and it's not. I'm not just listening to local stuff.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of different fighters, a lot of different podcasts, and everyone's saying there's more tools in the toolbox for Anthony Smith in this spot, and he'll be able to go to that toolbox.
Yeah.
A lot of guys are saying they expect him to either submit or knock him out in the second round.
Yeah.
Measuring him up in the first, and letting Johnny Walker walk into something and taking full advantage. I guess I don't get scared with the longevity as long as you take care of yourself. But that last fight we talked about with Enclave, he wasn't right.
No.
It was obvious, and they came out and said it that, yes,
hurt.
I was hurt in the second.
Yeah.
So everyone kind of gives him a pass on that. I don't know if I can give him an easy enough pass because he is 36-17, his professional record.
Yeah.
In and out of the UFC early on there. Now he's a mainstay. But like you said, everything is on the line here.
It is. His whole career is on the line right now. He's been even, being the backup fighter for some, bigger fights, some main card fights and stuff like that. He's just wanted to get himself back in there. This is a huge opportunity for him because Johnny Walker is one of the best in the biz at this weight class. Now, a couple nuggets I wanted to throw out there. Anthony Smith to win by submission is sitting at plus 350 right now. So that is good value for what we are trying to say here. But on the flip card of that, Andy, Johnny Walker to win by KO is at a plus 140. So you can see the bookmakers think that is a very good possibility that Johnny Walker could knock him out. So that plus 140 is a spotlight at where the bookmakers think this is going to go. I don't think it's going to end that way. It definitely could. He's a huge striker, but I think Anthony Smith gets us down on the mat, wins by submission. That plus 350 is just looking me right in the face and saying, take me, take me.
But that's how close it's going to be because I think Johnny Walker is going to take that swing.
Yeah.
And if it connects, it could be a knockout.
It could
very
be.
easily. But if it doesn't, Anthony Smith probably gets him in the submission either in the second or the third. Do you think this one is going to go the distance, or you don't feel that just from what you said? You don't feel it's going to go 3?
No, I do not believe it will, just because these guys are doing two different things right now. Either one's going to catch him with a huge punch or one's going to get him on the mat,
Right.
and Johnny Walker cannot survive on the mat with Anthony Smith.
No.
So it's either a one knockout or it's a submission on the ground. So it just
this is going to be a good one.
It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a lot of fun.
fun.
There's a reason it's 110-110.
Yeah.
It's split down the middle. Nobody really knows which way to go here. I'm backing our boy from Nebraska. Go Anthony Smith. Go Lionheart.
Call me a homer on this one,
Let's
too.
do it.
I mean, and you can't be too far out of line when it's just a coin toss anyway.
Exactly.
So give me
agree.
Lionheart, Anthony Smith
Yes,
in the co-main
sir.
event. Shall we move on to the heavyweight bout?
Let's do it.
Main event.
I got it.
Rosenstruck, the number 9 contender in the world, taking on Almeida, the number 12 contender in the world. He is the Brazilian. However, he is a huge favorite. I'm looking at a line here, money line of minus 490.
Yeah,
here.
it's crazy, Andy. And, they probably shouldn't have, swapped main events here. Probably should have had Anthony Smith, Johnny Walker, the two bigger names, I believe, in the sport.
Yeah.
They just didn't know if these guys were going to be ready to go. Rosenstruck is always, one of the, big,
dude.
one of the big premier,
Yep.
heavyweights in this era of UFC. But I just believe that the book has it right here. The minus 490 that I'm looking at with Almeida is just, it's too glaring. I mean, obviously there's a way that Rosenstruck can get this done, but
sure. He's 13-4.
yeah.
This is Rosenstruck.
But after winning his first 4 UFC, fights by knockout, which really, turned the page for him and said, hey, look at this guy. Rosenstruck's run in the company has been, up and down as he constantly faces elite fighters. That's what's going to happen. When you go 4-0, they're going to throw these big guys at you. Now he will be looking to hold on to his spot in the top 10 when he faces this red hot guy, this guy's won 12 straight that he's fighting. And
he's way more cut. I mean, you're looking at 232 to 261 at weigh-in.
Yeah.
I mean, giving up 30 pounds, but the dude looks like an NFL tight end or linebacker.
Exactly. And he has multiple ways to win this fight, Andy. And, in his foe having weakness in grappling, Rosenstruck is terrible at grappling. Look for him to continue his hot streak, get him on the ground. I believe this one ends in round 1. And Rosenstruck doesn't make it out of the first round. So I believe the books have this right. There's not a lot of,
juice on that
value doing that. But if you do want some sort of bet here, it would be do under 1.5 rounds, because I believe that's what it's going to happen. But that's still at minus 210, Andy.
I was going to say that can't be that good either.
It's not.
All righty, Mr. Parlay Pounder, do you got a parlay play for UFC Fight Night?
I do.
Let's hear
and
it.
we talked about all of them. I got Ian Gary to win by KO. I think that's the most likely KO of the night is Ian Gary gets it. That's at plus 200.
Okay.
Pair that with Anthony Smith at a minus 110 just to win. He doesn't have to submit. He doesn't have to knock him out. Just Anthony Smith to win at a minus 110.
Right.
And then I just told you, under 1.5 rounds with Rosenstruck at a minus 210. You put all 3 of those together, that's at a plus 745.
Ooh.
Putting 25 on this to win $211.
There you go. The Parlay Pounder.
Let's go 3 for 3.
Pretty good one there. Well, let's take a quick minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Stock and Rod Company, an outdoor lifestyle brand for those seeking adventure. Whether it's hunting, fishing, or hiking, they got you covered. Visit stockandrod.com to get your wild game on. Don't go anywhere, folks. This is WTL. And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the Line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
Jabron.
The Parlay Pounder.
You got it.
Yes, sir. And we're off to a really good start here. NBA basketball, UFC Fight Night, featuring on the co-main event a guy out of Omaha, Nebraska,
Lionheart.
Anthony Smith. Now, we also have a little bit of a Super Bowl, kind of.
Yeah.
XFL championship game.
The XFL Super Bowl.
We've talked about the XFL on a couple of different occasions.
Yeah.
So we're going to dive right back into it. But I think the XFL as a whole has really worked out the way, or what The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, one of the main owners, founders now, the way he expected it to.
For sure.
Not big sellout crowds, but good crowds.
Yeah.
I would say.
It's been good, viewership and, as good a crowds as you can expect for a semi-pro football thing.
Yep.
But, really having it on ESPN Plus and, ESPN promoting it really, really helps out. But it also helps that they have, some ex-NFL players, some ex-really good college players to really promote this league. And, like you were just talking about right before we got on here, they've been offering some contracts and offering some camp visits and all that kind of stuff. So it's been really fun. It's a second chance for some of these guys. It's a first chance for some of these guys.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. A couple of the guys that I really want to talk about, Andy, is a couple ex-Huskers. Chris Jones, standout defensive back for the Nebraska Huskers, played in the NFL for the Arizona Cardinals for a couple seasons. He's on the Seattle Sea Dragons this year, had 20 tackles, 16 of those solo tackles, and 4 assisted tackles. I thought he played really good, especially for the Sea Dragons. Yep. And, he's probably going to get a call, for a couple camps here. So congratulations to Chris Jones, ex-Blackshirt. So you got to give it up to him. And then for my St. Louis Battlehawks, we fell short, didn't make it to the championship. But Freedom Akinmuladoon. Freedom. Our ex-defensive line standout for the Huskers. Had 14 tackles, 7 solo, and he did register 1 sack this year. So, he's probably going to get a call for some camps too. So, just really wanted to give a congratulations, a little shout-out to those ex-Huskers in their first, successful XFL league.
Yeah, and the way that the XFL, this new XFL, is working as kind of a farm system. For the NFL.
The G League.
Yeah, the G League. They're working with the NFL. They're not trying to go head-to-head or anything like that. And it's given these young guys an opportunity, a second opportunity. You're talking about some of these guys getting called up. Gary Jennings, the running back for your Battlehawks. Going to your Panthers.
Going right from one of my teams to the other one, Andy.
Got invited to their fall camp here. So that to me is proof that the XFL is working, and it's a good thing for these guys.
And I've heard that one player did leave Carolina, and I think he was a running back, so we might need a little extra help in that running back room. But no, but like you said, let's get into this championship game a little bit. The XFL, like you said, successful 2023 season. Everybody, I think, was thinking it might flop and all that kind of stuff. But like we said, with the big guys pushing it, ESPN and all that kind of stuff, it's going to happen. But this game is between the Arlington Renegades and the DC Defenders, Andy. And the line's opening up with the Defenders as a -6.5.
That's what I got.
Gonna win by over a touchdown here. Over-under sitting at 48 points, Andy.
48? It's been on the move. I think it opened up around 46, 40.
I believe so as well, but sitting right now at 48. These two clubs took different routes to the big game, Andy, with Arlington often looking to be on the verge of being shut out of the postseason before sliding into the playoff with the help of a razor-thin San Antonio Brahmas loss in Week 10. Arlington then convincingly dispatched the Houston Roughnecks in the South Division Championship to earn the right to face a Defenders team in its narrow loss in Week 9. So, with all that being said, meanwhile, the Defenders made those close victories a trademark on their way to a 9-1 regular season record, then turned away the Seattle Sea Dragons by a 37-21 score in the North Division Championship to earn their rematch with the Renegades. It's the Renegades versus the Defenders. And, it's going to be a good game.
At first blush, everyone's going to be piling on the Defenders, I believe. Because, Tamu, their quarterback, he's a dual threat guy, so they get to run a little bit of that college look that you see in a lot of college. They also have the league's #1 running back, Abram Smith. Guy with the most yards, most touchdowns, all that good stuff. And you got to like the Defenders' defense. I mean, it's in their name, right? They really limit the opposing offense. But the Renegades, it's a tale of 2 seasons for them, really. They still only got a 4-6 record.
It's crazy, Andy.
And the way that they were able to
they
knock
just
off.
slid in there.
But ever since they got Luis Perez over from Las Vegas, they have been a different team. He has added 100 yards just on the stat sheet alone. They make about 100 more yards per game. They also score 6+ more points per game. So he had a huge impact. Of course, he did being a quarterback, a good quarterback, and he fit the system, and they've been off and running since. So it's kind of like you're seeing one team that they're riding the hot hand.
Yeah.
Okay? And this is like, it reminds me of a March Madness team. Where you're like, oh, they're not going to beat Kansas, or they can't play against Kentucky. Well, they're shooting lights out right now, so look out.
And I think
that's what you're running into here. So I don't know. That's 6.5. I'm looking at Arlington thinking you can cover it. You can be within a touchdown, right?
No, exactly, Andy, and that's what was going to be my best bet out of the water. The Renegades plus 6.5. That is a lock. This is a championship game, Andy, and they are riding the hot hand. Like you said, the Renegades appear to have enough on both sides of the ball to give the defenders another close battle at least. Despite its 9-1 regular season record, DC finished the campaign with just a plus 58-point differential after recording 6 wins by a combined 22-point margin of victory. In fact, the defenders' last 3 triumphs, including the Week 9 win over the Renegades, came by a combined 4 points. These guys are winning, but they're not winning by a lot of points here.
Right.
The Renegades are ready to take down these guys. Plus 6.5 is the safest bet on the board right now. Renegades by plus 6.5. I think they might win the game, Andy.
So it's interesting you mentioned that this is a rematch, and these teams just played a few weeks ago. And that game was an oddball game. DC defenders got way up. I mean, they were blowing them out of the water.
They were.
They took their foot off the gas. And then with all the ways that you can score points and you can go for it on 4th and 15.
3-point conversion, all that kind of stuff.
The momentum just started rolling with Arlington, and they tied it up, pushed it to overtime, where the defenders did get the better of them, 28-26, like you said, leading to those small margins of victory. And if that holds true, and DC's not afraid, not scared to play in those close games. So there you go. That's within 6.5.
No, Andy, and that's exactly what I'm saying. DC defenders will allow some points, but they will not. They're not going to break at the end of the game. They still got a really good defensive scheme. When it gets late in games, people get flustered. This defense will not break. It will bend. It won't break. I still believe the DC defenders win the game, but the Arlington Renegades are just riding the hot hand with Luis Perez right now that they're going to be within 6.5 points. So that's where I'm at in it. And DC defenders, champions of the XFL.
DC defenders to win, but that money line, might not have. It's a minus 255, so that might be not the juice you're looking for.
Sure not.
But the Renegades to cover the 6.5, I think we both like that quite a bit. With that total going all the way up to 48 now, 48.5.
Under.
You're going to go the under?
I have to, Andy.
I think that's.
I really think that these both defenses are pretty dang good. Like we said about riding the hot hand and all that kind of stuff. But I see this game shaping up to be about 23-20, one of those kind of games, 21-22, something like that, with both teams just hovering there. So I really like the defenders to win this game. Let's say 23-20. Defenders.
And that is a Saturday kickoff. It's going to be on ABC. 8/7 Central Standard Time. So be ready for that one. We're not leaving you hanging Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We got you. We got games all over the place. Games everywhere.
We do.
Should we take a quick minute to recognize one of our
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let me pull them up right here, and that is the Nebraska Brewing Company. We've been enjoying the smooth, easy drinking Ale Storm, the official beer of Omaha's AAA baseball team, precisely crafted with Pilsner malt and Sterling hops, making it the perfect summer baseball beer. Don't go in there, folks. This is WTL. And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the Line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
Jabron.
Oh, the Parlay Pounder.
You got it.
Yes, sir. And we got to wrap it up with a little Major League Baseball.
We have to.
Final segment. We're going big. The big leagues.
Big leagues.
Do we want to do a little reminiscing here? Kind of call ourselves out.
Well, the first thing that I wanted to get at, Andy, and I'll jump right on this sword. The Kansas City Royals. I think we all kind of knew that they're going to be bad in our, pre-show.
Yes.
Predating the season. We kind of gave our thoughts on each of the local teams, the Royals, the Twins, the Rockies, the Cardinals, the Cubs, all that kind of stuff. And I knew that they were going to be bad, Andy. I really did.
Yeah.
I did not think they were going to be this bad.
Well, they got 10, 11 wins?
They got 11 wins as of this recording. The Royals, to me, fall to the worst team in baseball spot in the rankings after losing 2 of 3 to the Oakland A's at home over this past weekend. Aside from the offensive contributions from Salvador Perez, it's tough to find any positive in Kansas City right now.
No.
And what I got to call myself out on is I had this team winning over 68.5 games. They got 11 right now. That ain't going to happen. If you're losing to a team 2 out of 3 that's only won 8 games, the Athletics, you're not going to do very well in those over bets.
Yeah, and that's kind of been one of the overriding shock, and I've seen some articles about it, is like how many bad, like really bad teams there are in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
It's like they figured out, hey, if we want another run at this, we got to tank. We got to tank for a couple of years here. And man, it appears that way, because I've actually seen a lot of articles, and maybe it's just because we're in Omaha with the Storm Chasers, but I've seen a lot of articles about their AAA baseball team more than I have their Major League baseball team.
Yeah, more people are excited about the Storm Chasers than they are the Royals. And I think another thing, Andy, and I'm not trying to say that they're tanking and stuff, but Kansas City's all, they're ready for the downtown baseball stadium. They want to move downtown. They want to get out of that park with the Arrowhead. They want to, be a premier baseball team downtown KC. So I don't know if that's, promoting anything into it, but they are not good right now, and they're one of the worst teams, and that is a good thing for my team, the Minnesota Twins, that are winning the American League Central Division right now with a record of 20-17, the only team in the Central with a winning record right now.
Won yesterday. They're also 19-17 against the spread. Not too shabby.
Pretty good. So, a line right now that I like, Andy, is right now the Minnesota Twins to make the playoffs is at a -180.
Okay.
So that's not terrible odds, but to win the American League Central right now is at a -165. And I think they have a very good shot at doing that. They have the best lineup in the American League Central, and I want to say that they do have the best pitching rotation in the Central. So if you're, hot on the Twins right now is a good time to double down, just because I think that they are the clearly best team in the Central.
I think so, too. I think you can make that argument. We're closing in on 40 games this season, for all the squads. And so it's not early anymore.
No.
You're starting to see trends. You're starting to see things kind of play themselves out. And I like the Twins in the preseason to win the Central anyway.
Yeah.
People are talking White Sox, and some of those games have been hard to watch.
Yeah.
The Twins, though, they're holding serve. They're winning at home and splitting out on the road. So
exactly,
I like the Twins. I like the Twins there. Another team that we kind of were off base on was the St. Louis Cardinals.
Oh my God, Andy!
But they could still come back here. I really do believe that, because the Pirates. I mean, we both kind of thought the Pirates, give me a break.
Yeah,
forget it.
Yep.
But man,
they have shot out of a cannon.
They've come back down to earth recently, a little bit. Though. The last 7 or 8 games they haven't looked so good.
Yeah.
So that's where you're going to start seeing. Okay, now those wins are going to start shifting towards the Cardinals. Yeah, and you're going to have it compiling too. You're going to have St. Louis winning more, and you're going to have Pittsburgh losing more. So I still think for all of our St. Louis Cardinals fans, and there's a lot of them out there, there's still hope. It's still early
right
enough.
now. Yeah, so that's what I was trying to get at, Andy, is don't, hang your head. You still have many, many All-Stars on this team. Mm-hmm. This is the rock bottom for the Cardinals. And if this is the rock bottom for your team, you're early enough in the season that you still can come back and stuff. That isn't a rock bottom for a team like me and you are fans of. Like, this is season in, season out kind of stuff. Yeah. But they lost 8 in a row before finally picking up a win against the Detroit Tigers on Sunday behind a 3-homer game from their guy, Goldie, Paul Goldschmidt. But, I just think their pitching really, really needs to come alive here. One bet that if you are a Cardinals backer right now, for the Cardinals to make the playoffs right now is at plus 200. So that is some value bet right there. If you are a homer for the Cardinals, that's probably pretty good for you.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that the Cardinals always find a way. They always find a way, and I just feel like how the Pittsburgh has been on a slide as of recent, and they
1-9 out of their last 10 games. Pittsburgh is.
There you go. And the Cardinals are going to turn around. They always do.
They're only 8 games out of first place right now, Andy. It's really early. Like we said, Pittsburgh is 1-9 in their last 10. Milwaukee, who's second in the division, is 2-8 in that span. And then it's definitely doable for the St. Louis Cardinals. Yep. Like we said, they have the playmakers to do it. Plus 200. That's probably a pretty good bet. That's making it in on a wild card. So, plus 200.
Yeah. Just the one wild card game. Yeah,
for sure.
Another team that we all kind of pegged for bottom dwellers, and they maybe haven't been that bad, but they're still bottom 4, bottom 5 in power rankings. That's the Colorado Rockies out there in Denver. Yeah. What are they? 16-22, 17-22 right
16
now.
16 wins.
Yep. So I mean, maybe not as bad as some predicted.
Yeah,
but definitely not on they're not 500 or few games below 500. So I think the Cardinals may be a little bit better than what some expected, but there's a lot of season left here.
Yeah, exactly. The Rockies entered last week riding an ugly 4-14 stretch, but they finished, this past week with a 5-1 against the Milwaukee Brewers and the New York Mets. So, that's probably going to be one of their most successful stretches of the year. But yeah, give it up to the Rockies. They're probably a little bit better than we thought they were, but like you said, still bottom dwellers. Not going to have much at the end of the season. So if you're a Rockies fan, turn it in now, I guess.
Hey, remember we had old Matt Plotchik on?
We did
for that first week there, and he was going off about the Atlanta Braves.
Yes,
he was right in a big way. Ronald Acuna Jr., he had him as a front runner for MVP. Opened up at plus 900. Now he's emerged as one of the early favorites at plus 275.
Yeah.
And he also said, I like Atlanta to win the division, not only because of Acuna Jr., Spencer Strider. Remember we talked about the mustache? He's emerged as one of the NL Cy Young.
No doubt.
Guys sitting out in front there, rocking a 2.57 ERA, 2.57 ERA right now, 57 strikeouts, just throwing heat.
Yeah.
And, if you're going to throw something out there, he opened at plus 800. For that Cy Young. Now he's sitting at plus 225. So the odds makers, they're making adjustments as well.
Exactly, Andy. And that is a very good bet. Spencer Strider is one of the best in baseball. That plus 225 is very good odds right now. Like you said, with Ronald Acuna Jr. at plus 175 for the National League MVP. Yep. I want to flip it to the American League, Andy, because I just feel it's a shoo-in.
A shoo-in?
A shoo-in for Shohei.
A lock.
A shoo-in for Shohei. Ohtani is going to win the American League MVP again. He's at minus 105 right now, Andy. The next closest best bet for him is plus 800 to his teammate, Mike Trout.
Yeah, it's insane.
If we're almost 40 games in, and he's already a minus money to win the MVP. That's a lock if you can find one.
He just it's just he's passing names like Babe Ruth. He just passed Babe Ruth for most strikeouts. Yep. It's just crazy. And then when you get to check names off like that during a season like this. I need you, Shohei the way. Yeah. So I'm not going to do that anymore, but I would have to agree with you. Ohtani.
Yeah, for AL MVP.
I mean, it's already minus money.
Yeah, it's already minus 105 already to win the American League MVP.
It's still a good bet, though, I think.
It is.
Right?
It is. It's a lock. People don't have minus money for MVPs 35 games into the season. It's unheard of. It's absolutely atrocious that's what it is.
Yeah.
But it's very hard to see somebody, go off on a tangent and not have as good a year as Shohei Ohtani.
Every year that he starts 20 games and hits 20 home runs, I think he should be a shoo-in for
Nobody
MVP.
else is doing that stuff.
Yeah, give me a break. That's crazy. And then he plays the field, plays the infield. On his off days, he'll DH. Like that guy just should be the shoe-in every year for you're suiting up, you're the MVP.
And for once, they have a winning record at this point in the season. So the Angels are still in it. They're still, trying to be a team that's in contention. And with those two superstars, it's going to be hard for them not to be. So, no, Shohei is a shoe-in for the MVP.
Do you have any other props like that you want to get at?
Yeah, I do.
Real quick?
I want to talk about Yoshida for the Boston Red Sox. Masataka Yoshida is going to be the American League Rookie of the Year. He's at plus 120 right now.
Okay.
The Red Sox, huge market team.
Yep.
This guy is one of their best players right now.
He's going to get a lot of attention.
He's going to get a lot of votes.
Yep.
Right now, Yoshida for the Boston Red Sox at plus 120. Lock that in. Lock in Shohei. Those are my two best bets for the Major League going forward.
Pretty good looking futures there. All right, you heard the horn. That means we're up against it. So that'll about do it for us this week. Be sure to follow us on ESPN, Tri-Cities Radio, our Twitter handle, and also our YouTube channel. Just clicked over 1,000 subs. Thank you, each and every single one of you. That has been a lot of fun for us to do, especially those short videos.
Yeah.
The interaction, that's been a lot of fun to watch. We also got those daily free picks over on TikTok. For Jabron, the Parlay Pounder, I'm Andy Klassen. Thank you for listening. This has been WTL.